Okay, so in this session, we'll really talk about the do's and do nots of applying of essay writing. Okay, we'll start with the myths about the review process, some common mistakes, topics you should absolutely avoid. We'll talk about the Costco essay, and we'll talk in some more detail. Okay. Myths about the writing process is, by myth, I mean, this is bullshit. You have to write something which is completely unique. That's not true. You have to write stuff which they're just trying to get to know who you are. And they'll gauge you as a unique person based on who you are in general. You don't have to be Superman to be unique. There are more than one ways to skin a cat. So there's not just a right way to answer a question saying, oh, they've asked this, I have to give it exactly in that style. The style could come out in a very subtle way in your answer. And they're trained to look for the way. So don't try to spoon feed them the answer saying exactly the way they asked a question. Sometimes they can take it as an insult. You don't have to be funny. I mean, you don't have to be clever either. It's just a good essay, heartfelt. I mean, you can make it a little humorous at times, that if you want to do that, but just err on the side of keeping it. These are formal essays. You have to write this essay all alone. That's not true. I mean, in fact, you do need 2-3 people who you kind of bounce your ideas off of. I have students who come saying, hey, I was thinking of writing this essay in this style, and they haven't written it yet. And they say, what do you think? And I'll say, well, try to take this essay a little in this direction. Did you think about this part? They say, yeah, I did think about it this way. This is what I'm thinking of putting it now. So we'll both basically, he's not written a single line. He has some thought process. He'll tell me the thought process. I'll give him my thought process. We'll both come to a kumbaya, and then he walks away, and then he does the work on his own. Okay, and he comes back with a pretty darn good, like 50% of times, I might not have to do anything really on the high level thing. I might still have to do some structural changes, but overall, pretty cool, right? The essay can get you in. Essays keep you out. They don't get you in. Okay, a stupid essay or a dull essay will keep you out. But a good essay does not get you in. It's a holistic thing. So many things that come into picture. The general theme across these common mistakes is don't try too hard. I mean, if you worked long enough with multiple perspectives and you have a methodical way of thinking, like I've put together in the past for you, if you thought enough about your values, you have enough stories, enough small vignettes, dossiers available to play with, things kind of more or less fall in place. Okay, you could have a problem where you have too little to work with, and you're just trying to shoehorn everything into that one few little things, tricks that you have in your, in your bag. But don't try too hard to be like, it doesn't have to be the perfect hook. I mean, you got to end strong, but your hook doesn't have to be, you don't even have to do the Medaillas raise, which is like starting from the middle, going up. It could still be a chronological sequence if you're doing a storytelling in that form. That's fine. Okay. Most of these admissions people are not, it's not some gray-haired 50-year-old man. Okay? These are very young readers who are reading your essays. Could be the AdCom deans and the assistant of VP who's making the decisions come much later. There are a lot of people along the way. So you don't have to impress one versus the other. You just write what you have to write, let the system play out, and the system does play out very well. Forgetting, you see this thing about teachers writing a generic essay, very predictable or generic, just lecturing away. How does that help? I mean, I had a student, he just wanted to lecture about how the world is not as smart. And I was like, are you trying to say you are smarter than them? Then why don't you just tell me how you are smarter? There's no point of trying to say people are not smart. But forgetting that your teachers and counselors are allies. Mostly we all work for you. You're the CEO of your career at that point, or this point. So it's important that you use the team very carefully and well. And if you don't use them well, they will freak out and they'll try to take control. But if you take control, if you are on top of things, they don't come and take control. Okay. Forget about what should I say. Focus on what they don't know about me. In fact, this is the most important part. Is the essay is supposed to be the story behind the story. What they see in your activities, what they see in your recommendation and transcripts is the story. What you're telling them is the story behind the story. Okay. Next, the do's. These are things we should do. Write in first person. Have a heavy emphasis on the why. Okay. Be reflective. Very important. Omit anything that does not advance the story. You could literally take a comb and say, for every line as you read, critically when you read your essay, is it advancing the story? Maybe you're starting too early. You could, like, sometimes I see an essay which is like very beautifully written, and I'll say, okay, that's the last essay, last paragraph is all I need, and I want you to expand. And they're like, what? Like, dude, you wrote like 2 paragraphs above, which had nothing to do with the plot. I mean, you're just setting the whole thing up. Two sessions, 2 paragraphs to set it up. That would have been just like 2 lines, or it wasn't even needed over there. So yeah, less is always better. So if it's a 650 character or 650 word essay, the Common App, finish in 600, 610, 615, even 550, not bad. The sooner you get your point across, the brevity is appreciated. Don't lose the plot, but try to do it, okay? These are some of the essay strategies and topics you absolutely should avoid, okay? Number 1, your essay should not be a reflection of your resume. If you've already written the resume and the things are mentioned over there, if you're just chronologically talking about, oh my God, I went through this and I did this and I made this 10, dude, the resume was there for that. That's not needed. And that's what comes in your activities list, okay? Very generic answers, okay? You got to stay away. You got to be very specific. In fact, if you say, my 9th grade teacher, my physics teacher, when she was teaching the class, instead of saying 9th grade physics teacher, you say, when Professor Doe taught us physics my favorite teacher was Professor Doe in 9th grade who taught us physics. My favorite teacher was a physics buff, Jane Doe, and she did this. Right now, when you give it a name, it becomes, I am more inclined to understand it or want to work with it, okay? The Jesus essay, talking about religion or politics, you got to stay away from that, okay? You don't know who's reading it on the other side. The I got an A essay, which is, I worked so hard, I was failing over here, and this happened and that happened, and I worked my tail off, and I was able to get an A. I can see that. It's in the resume. I see it in the transcript. Why are you telling me that? I mean, if you have a good story about it, behind it is one thing, but this A resumes don't go anywhere. The mission trip essay next, which is, I went on a trip to Timbuktu, and it was a week-long mission trip. I went with the church, and my heart melted, and I made half a house for somebody. And after that, my life completely changed, and I've become completely into it. And that's it. You don't write anything else. It's like, this reeks of elitist way of writing, okay? Stay away from that kind of stuff. Some of the worst blunders from the past where I found this information, which is, like knock-knock jokes in between, or like trying to portray like something like Superman of yourself, a tennis championship where you were losing and how you turned it around, and the ASB election, how I became the leader. That can't be an essay. You could be a passing comment over there, and then it's going so vivid about the touchdown, about how this quarterback really made it, or how I was not a good player, and yada, yada, yada. Phony experiences. I actually had a patient, I operated on a patient. I didn't want to volunteer, but I'm so glad I did. Well, that's going to be feeling right away. Travel and landed that people were different, language, food was different. Who cares? Duh. Discipline, determination, dedication. Stay away from these kind of writes in your essays. I'm so and so ethnicity, so I have done this, or that's why I feel I'm challenged. Stay away. Racism, talking about, just politically charged subjects, forget it. Good at math, smart, a dragon, voting, and and stuff like that. But like these tend to become stereotypical things. I'm not unique at anything, so pity me. Okay? So you have what, which is exactly what makes me unique. It's like, it makes no sense. Finally, what makes these colleges groan? They've been tired of reading travelogues, people writing about their travel histories and what they did, stories how they recovered from a sports injury. This is the worst, right? Rehashing the extracurricular activities. If you already listed something in the extracurricular activities, the Common App should maybe enhance some part of it, maybe give one little call out to it, but you can't have those things coming here. Okay, it's not a resume. Editorialize the top news item of the day. Oh, Black Lives Matter, or elections and stuff. No, brevity. You got to be a lot of active writing, no passive writing. Don't beat around the bush. Remember that dude or the dudette who is reviewing your essay. Think of that person at 4 p.m. in the evening. They've probably had a fight with their wife. They've not had coffee. They've seen like 50 applications already. You don't want to piss them off. Okay? You got to write stuff which is to the point, humble, gets to the point very quickly. You got to do that. Okay. Okay, so now we will look at some real essays, okay? Something cool, okay? So this is the Costco essay. You can pause the video and you can see in details how somebody commented on. So this person wrote the essay saying how she feels inspired by going to Costco, where she's been going for a long time, and she's not obviously endorsing the brand or anything. It's just she's writing about how Costco over time, she's showing her intellectual curiosity, her understanding of what all comes over there. And, it's, you can see like, some call outs where she's making some flirting with some political things, obesity and stuff. But in general, she's done a very, I would say, okay, decent job. But this essay got like a rave comments in the New York Times and stuff, but it's small few lines really. I mean, if you really go to see, she hasn't talked anything about her academics. She hasn't really talked about how it made her a better thinker. She hasn't connected to her career aspirations, but like maybe she has, fascinating combination of interests. She's talking about that. So she adopted my exploratory skills, intellectual endeavors. So you can see totally different from a supplemental where they are pretty focused on detail, right? I mean, you could almost say your personal essay will be nothing like your UCPIQs. You could almost say that the UCPIQs are purely for supplemental essays. You can use them as an inspiration for the personal essay, but that's it. Okay? These are some opening lines from the Stanford admission essays. And you can see how unique they are. And this is how they open. So it's not like a hook or anything, but like I have old hands. I change my name every time I place an order at Starbucks. I mean, it's almost like the first line gives away or wants you to, you literally will form an opinion about what's coming next. So you get excited about what's coming next simply by reading the first line. Like, excuse me. When I was in the 8th grade, I couldn't read. You're like, oh, wow, what the hell happened there, right? Did he lose his eyesight or he was dyslexic or what is it? Right? I've been surfing Lake Michigan since I was 3 years old. I have never seen anybody so excited about mitochondria. Wonder where they're going with this one, right? Maybe he's talking about the younger him or somebody else in the classroom who he was helping out or who he mentored, he or she. I almost didn't live through September 11th, 2001, right? Could be this person was in the womb, was in the pregnant woman's, stomach. But anyway, point is just to give you some Stanford applications so you understand, kind of starts getting your juices flowing in that direction. Okay. These are some college essay examples. You could, again, just Google these names and you'll find these are publicly available samples, good stuff. And I would urge you to look at all of these and start putting some of your supplementals and stuff based on these, okay? Finally, I like this one about persuasive writing. When you're writing persuasively, it is an acquired skill. But if in the introductions, you can talk in this terminology because you are trying to do something persuasive, okay? Particularly in the supplemental essays, okay? Just use that, look at the language they've used. I found it very interesting, okay? So with that, I'm going to just close this right here and conclude. Thank you.